Hello everyone, Mouse88 here with a brand new video. Today's subject will be on anti-Semitism. I decided to cover this topic due to some concerning things I have been seeing. So how will this subject be tackled? Well, first I wish to go over what anti-Semitism is and how it is reactionary. Next I will go over how we should combat this disgusting strain of prejudice, and then lastly I will talk about Zionism and how being anti-Zionist is not anti-Semitic. So without further ado, let us begin. The ADL describes anti-Semitism as the hatred and hostility towards Jews solely for the fact that they are Jewish. It may take on many different forms, whether it be religious hatred that promotes their inferiority, political oppression such as isolation, suppression, and even violence towards them. Our great teacher, Lenin, imbued upon us that anti-Semitism is to incite the ignorant worker and peasant against the Jews, as this heavily benefits the bourgeois. The landowners and the ruling class will divert the hatred against them towards the Jews as a form of a scapegoat to distract the masses. Lenin states that there are bourgeois Jews and we are against them, not because they are Jewish, but because they are a part of the ruling class that oppresses us. There are working class Jews that suffer from the same oppression as we do. The working Jews are our comrades, whilst the bourgeois, kulak, and reactionary Jews are our enemies. Just like the same ilk of any other nation, they are not a monolith. Yet the nonsense of anti-Semitism has caused a misconception to spread among the working people due to it being easily consumable and lacks the proper investigation as the bourgeois class wants. The Jewish people are one of diverse backgrounds. You have the Ashkenazi, Beta Israelites, or Ethiopian Jews, the Sephardi, and North African Jews, and each group faces different problems based on their material conditions, as in within each group is even a more diverse economic and social background. They have no grand plan of world domination, nor do they have anything intrinsically telling them to enslave us. This is just nonsense. What the anti-Semite spews is not scientific or even logically consistent, therefore it is reactionary garbage that must be fought. So the question now is, how do we combat such a repugnant form of belief? Being educated on the subject is indeed one way we can combat it, but it is not enough to simply know what it is. We must cut out people's actions when they enact anti-Semitic activity, whether it be jokes, engaging conspiracy theories uncritically, or blatant racist/chauvinistic remarks. We must also investigate the history of anti-Semitism, as it will help us look out for any signs of its possible repackaging by reactionary people or just using the same terminology. We might make some people upset, as some are used to making these so-called jokes or holding this belief, but it is better for them to be upset than to let this ferocious disease fester. Now, there's another disease that also harms the Jewish people, that of Zionism. Before we go on with Zionism, let us first refresh our memories on what constitutes a nation. As Comrade Stalin has taught us, a nation has historically constituted a stable community of people that have been formed on the basis of a common language, territory, economic life, and a psychological makeup that has manifested in a common culture. Now, let us look at Israel. From the separate ethnic groups of Jews that I have mentioned, do any of them have a common culture? The answer is no. Even in terms of religion, they are not the same. Some are not even part of the faith. Zionism is a racist ideology solely based on the colonial and metaphysical belief that returning to the homeland, Palestine, would be the best for Jews. This ignores the nation of Palestinian people, which includes the Palestinian Jews, that already existed there in favor for colonizing the land for the mystical idea of return to the Holy Land. Now, how do the various ethnicities of Jews make up a nation? The answer is, they don't. Whenever someone argues for the Israeli state to exist based on Zionist principles, they are not promoting a nation but an ethnic state. To oppose this is not anti-Semitism, as Zionism is even part of the Jewish religion. It is a phenomenon that is actually quite recent in terms of the existence of the Jewish faith, as it was first coined in the 1890s. You heard me right, it was first coined in the 1890s. Zionism, therefore, isn't an ancient ideology, and even if it was, we would still oppose it since it is based on a religious fable and therefore ignores the social scientific understanding of a nation. Yet, comrades, when we hear someone espousing anti-Zionism, we must be attentive as to why. Lest we forget, there are reactionaries that oppose Israel, but for dubious reasons. We must be nuanced when combating this as well. and show that the anti-Semites are feigning their anti-Zionism, as they uphold the reactionary belief of anti-Semitism. So, from this we now know that there is a wretched demon with many heads: anti-Semitism, Zionism, racial supremacy, etc. And its heart that keeps its blood flowing within this repugnant creature is that of capital. Anti-Semitism and Zionism is the enemy of not only the workers, but the Jewish workers and people as well. We must vehemently oppose this reactionary rubbish and expose it for its horrendous consequences it has had on the Jewish populace. Well, that will be it for today's video, comrades. I hope you learned something new. In the comments and in the description, I will link various sources talking about anti-Semitism and Zionism. If you have any critiques, questions, or comments, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. This is Mouse98, signing off.